So we will talk in the next 40 minutes about initial coin offerings. Will it morph into IPO 2.0? Because this is an example of that the blockchain technology is disrupting an industry called venture capital business. I think if you remember last year, 4.6 billion US dollars were invested in startups through ICOs, compared to $1 billion US dollars through equity funding. So it's a factor of 5. So we saw an increase of this new way of getting access in a democratic way or democratizing way to capital for those startups. So it's a very controversial topic because certain countries that stop doing this, not allowing this anymore. Countries are more progressive or liberal around that. They are supporting this. So it's a very controversial topic in the crowdfunding business. And I have a really fantastic panel, and I will ask them in a minute to introduce themselves. Nadja from there, Quincy, Michael, and Hubert. I think we will hear different views and opinions about this topic, and want to ask you to introduce yourself, what you do, and Quincy, I think you do also. You're one of the few companies doing right now an ICO. Is that correct, or you did?
Yeah. No, we are doing.
You're doing it. Okay.
We are doing. Yes. Well, I am Salomo. I am the CEO from Nostrum. Nostrum is a restaurant chain operating on the quick service restaurant. Our goal is to be the first player of European player in this market in the coming 5 years. And we have become public company 3 years ago in the stock exchange in Madrid. We have done an IPO there. And now we have just presented 1 month ago our ICO that will be opened for private sales in the coming week and on public sales in 1 month approx. On that,
and you do this in Spain?
We are a Spanish listed company, but the ICO we are doing in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, okay, yeah. Good.
Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, I don't know. Good afternoon now.
Good afternoon. Yeah, correct.
I am Hubert de Vauplane, I am partner. I am maybe today the bad guy on the panel list because I am the lawyer. Well, I used to be a banker during 25 years in various international banks, from a general counsel to trader, or to trader to general counsel more exactly. What I do to Kramer Levin law firm in Paris. Kramer Levin is an American law firm. We assist a lot of corporates on the ICO. We have a dozen of ICO at least in Europe, and we'll be happy to give you our experience on ICO.
Okay, Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael Jackson. I'm with Mangrove Capital, a 17-year-old venture capital company based in Luxembourg. I'm one of the guys which the ICO world is going to completely destroy if you read the papers. So we're trying to adapt, and maybe we'll talk about that along the way.
Hi, I'm Filali. I'm head of blockchain programs, and I lead the consortium lab chain for Caisse des Dépôts. And Caisse des Dépôts is a third party in France, a public group, and is the pattern of BPI France. And we're supporting the development for territories and industry in France.
Okay. Excellent panel from my perspective. So let me start with you from an ICO perspective. You've been through an IPO a few years ago, and now you do an ICO. Love to hear your experiences. If you compare your IPO experiences now doing an ICO out of Switzerland, so what are the learnings already so far from you? What is better? What are the challenges? That comparison, I think, for the audience would be a huge value.
Yeah. Well, we've done, first of all, we say that we are doing an ICO 2.0, not an IPO 2.0, okay. A new version of ICO, because it's a regulated ICO in Switzerland and also a regulated company in Spain. But what we have done, the huge difference between the IPO and the ICO is that first, blockchain and cryptocurrency is a global phenomenon. Then would put Nostrum as a global company in the coming months. And that for us is incredible. It's a window that we have opened month, and is for the companies. For the companies, it's very important that is a real way of globalization of a company. That is one of the big difference.
Access to a global pool of capital is
Pool
the
of
big
capital and pool of businesses.
So you're also establishing a global brand then with that?
Exactly. And you, if we have time, I will show you that it's not only all about money, it's about technology.
Yeah.
And blockchain enables new class of businesses that maybe before were impossible without blockchain.
And before we go to how you organize the ICO versus the IPO, usually an ICO is done with companies that have a link to blockchain. How has a restaurant chain a link to the blockchain crypto business?
Well, you need to know about our business, Nostrum. Nostrum is a very innovative business. Yeah. We are technology-based restaurants. Mm-hmm. We have a very supply chain, very tense supply chain that is using huge technology. We are using big data and forecasting, and we are always on technology. But also the food industry will be one of the industries that will use the blockchain the first, because the traceability of food is very important, and the blockchain gives a very good answer to this question.
So you're also working on the technology to trace your food for your restaurant chain, or is it part of the...
When you begin to know blockchain, you will see that you will find a lot of uses. One of the biggest uses that we find it in our tokenomics is that we say the crypto franchise model. That is a model that enables a new way of franchising that is incredible. And without blockchain, it's impossible.
This is an important topic. So you say token economics is part of your ICO development process to defining, based on your value proposition, what is the right token? Token for raising capital, or is it a token to drive the adoption of your technology, etc.? So is it a utility token? Is it more an equity token, security token? They have option to do so depending on what you want to achieve, and then the regulation follows that, no?
Well, we are a clear utility token if you look at our tokenomics in detail, but one of the main reasons that we are a utility token is that the first day will be used in our ecosystem. That is very important for a utility token. But also there is ICOs now raising a lot with security tokens. I think that is a huge market there for the future, regulated ICOs with security token. Mm-hmm. But Nostrum is a clear utility token that will be used for our customers and for our franchisees in our ecosystem. From the first day.
Okay. And then if you see the effort of doing an IPO a few years ago in Madrid versus the ICO, there are the numbers out there between 500,000 to 1 million for an ICO versus 8 to 10. Is the effort... Can you confirm that, or is it comparable, or is it less effort to get to an ICO?
It's more effort now, the ICO that we are doing. Mm-hmm. The challenge and the goal that we are forecasting is bigger than the IPO. And as is a global...
It's a global fundraising.
A global fundraising is a biggest effort than the IPO, because the IPO was in the second market. Okay. But also... the ICO that we are doing is a regulated ICO. Then our white paper is near a prospectus and is KYC, AML.
Last question before I go to it is how much money you want to raise?
We are raising 50 million.
50, okay.
50. Mm-hmm.
So, looking at from a legal perspective, would this kind of ICO possible in France?